everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Social Strategies Simplified with Sue, where we break down the social media strategies of top industry professionals who are gaining extraordinary reach and ROI on their content development efforts while doing much less than you may think you have to do. We're going to break this down using the hub and spoke content framework to demonstrate how you too can model these solutions into your business. Now, even if you are not in the same business as the person being demonstrated, please stick around because these strategies and best practices are universal and can be applied to any business, including yours. So if you're here with me live, give me a hashtag live in the comments. If you are joining me on the replay, give me a hashtag replay. And feel free to head on over to socialmediavault.com, where every episode that I have done, including lawyers, realtors, financial advisors, mortgage lenders, and more to come, are being stored. You'll see the current week's series, you'll see the last week's series, and then you'll see it broken down by industry focus. So it's a great way to dive in, see any episode, who you might resonate with, and there are other things available in the Social Media Vault with your special free access. So head on over there now. So we are going to continue our focus this week on the masterful financial educator, Bola Sokunbi. She has an extraordinary story, which she shares here on her website and through some video on her YouTube channel. So I highly recommend taking a look at her website, not only for her social media structure, which we're going to continue breaking down this week, but for the incredible story that brought her to the work that she does. Now, this is not necessarily part of the framework that we're discussing as it relates to the use of primary focus channel and content that you then break down into spokes across the social media landscape, but the story part is what makes that impact. It's what connects you to the human behind the business, makes you fall in love with her and what she has to offer you as you resonate with her, and is what helps to propel that content that she does continue to share. So take a look at her story, follow her stuff. She's got some great content, free content that will help you accelerate your wealth and feelings of worth in building that for yourself. Now, to get further into what we've been focusing on, you see her story here. What we dove into first was showcasing again how she does a wonderful podcast that she has weekly that, of course, as we've demonstrated in prior episodes, she creates the podcast. She's got it brought in on her website, embedded on her website through SoundCloud, which I haven't yet seen in some of the folks that we've demonstrated with podcasts, that they've been also using SoundCloud, which is a great way to go. We noted yesterday that Bola has over 2,000 followers there. She's also got it, of course, on Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, all of the places you expect to find podcasts. And then SoundCloud is what she embeds into her website, which is a great method to get those views. One of the things that I noted yesterday as well was something different that Bola is doing than some of the others that we've demonstrated is every single one of her podcasts you can see is done as an interview. Now, this is great from a lot of perspectives. It's great because of the dynamic that you can see when someone is hosting an interview version of a podcast. You get a little bit more variety. You have the dynamic. You get to experience the business leader with someone else as you might experience them in a coaching situation or an interview situation. So that's a great method. It's also a great way of sharing the stories of others that might resonate with the audience she's trying to capture. If you have that, I align with whether it's Bola or, Allison or Denny or any of the people that she's interviewed, you have that connection now to her podcast and to her content, and you want to come back for more. So what we see here then as we scroll down on this page is, an ad from a video, but where she's featuring some of the other places you can find her. So when we look over, we click through to her video. I've got this set up so we don't have to wait too long and watch ads. So we can see that she also has all of her videos embedded on her website, and then she has subscribed to Clever Girl Finance on YouTube. Now, right out of the gate, we can see here, check this out, how Danny navigated divorce, started over, and saved $60,000. Well, of course, if we come back over to her podcast page, that's a podcast. So again, the idea here, she's creating a podcast but she's creating a video that turns into a podcast that then also can live as a video on her website. And then, of course, if we come on over to YouTube, we're going to find that there as well. So, boom, that looks familiar, right? So we can see that same model that we've seen with many others where they're creating one larger piece of content, a video that she does an interview that is intended to also be stripped of the audio and placed into a podcast. So we're knocking out a lot of pieces of content with one single effort. Now you might say, oh, that effort feels like a lot, right? Well, that's the whole intention of the series is once you set your systems up to do that video, to create that podcast, to have the tools that you've learned or you have somebody helping you with to modify the video to place onto YouTube, modify the audio to place onto your podcast, it is a very easy, repeatable process. So this is the great method that we can see. She has a lot of other videos. And so, yes, she has a lot of content, right? But the idea here is to translate the one idea that those of you who are feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you're not sure where to start, the one model, the one framework and structure that is doable, right? So if you're thinking, I want to do some video, I want to do a podcast, get started with that thing. Don't worry about all the other potential side content you could create yet, right? Do the thing, make that easy. Build your process, build your structure, start implementing and distributing. Because as we can see here, this one piece of content is living on her website. It's living on SoundCloud. It's living on Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, giving her all of that search engine optimization. Then we put a thumbnail on it. It comes on over and lives on YouTube, also giving her some great visibility and search engine optimization there. Now, what we can also see is the additional benefit of doing this model where she has an interview guest each week. One, that's going to help her really have conversations where she's in her genius as opposed to having to script out or map out an entire podcast herself each week, because she can have a great Q&A and really feature the guest where she's the host. Now, the other benefit of having an interviewee is this. So this is Danny, who she interviews on the episode about divorce, starting over, and saving $60,000. Danny also has quite a very visible Instagram channel, as she herself has also accomplished a lot in building finance and wealth and has a lot to share with women in this niche. So you can see here, Danny has 45,000 followers on Instagram. What do we see as we scroll down? Boom. The interview that she did with Bola. So this is a great way to get support through other people in the distribution of your content, right? So she's also sharing this here with her audience. So now we've just really synergized that piece of content. So think about that. One video, one podcast that can get turned into a YouTube video that lives on a playlist, a podcast across all of these podcast stations, and different bits and bytes that you can mix up by sharing over time repeatedly on other channels like Instagram. Then when you have your guest who is doing the same thing, that visibility and impact has just been raised. Now, one thing you might notice is that Danny is also in a similar business, right? So you might look at this and say, well, aren't they competing with each other? Why would you do that? Why would you share that? Here's why. Because the idea is abundance. There are enough people out there for both Bola and Danny to be financial educators, serve women in need, and find the ones in their niche that they resonate with. And that is where we go back to the story. Some are going to resonate with Bola. Some are going to resonate with Danny. Some may want to work with both of them and may find ways to do that. So it's really coming from a place of serving your audience, building those connections and strategic relationships that are going to help both of you across your shared audiences and give you more of that visibility. So don't worry about that part. About, I've done things with other social media people. We fit different niches and we fill gaps for one another. And it's a lot of fun, and you can learn from each other that way. The other thing you might think is, oh, well, of course, she's got 45,000 followers. Bola's got over 70,000 followers on her YouTube. It's easy for them. No. I don't want to hear that either, right? You can partner with people with small audiences and still raise your visibility to extraordinary levels because of the way that algorithms work. So let's not think about the numbers. Sure, is this a great opportunity? A few women who have been featured in Forbes magazine? Absolutely, but it doesn't have to be that way. I've done a lot of podcasts and blog sharing with people I have a smaller audience, they have smaller audiences, but it still raises the impact of what you are doing to quality people in your network. And I always say it's the quality over the quantity. So either way, having that type of partnership is going to allow you to cast a wider net, meet additional people that you can then bring in to your next podcast and video. So that's our hub and spoke framework for today, getting into the first spoke from her hub of that creation of video content that becomes a podcast that then becomes other pieces of content that get distributed across the social media landscape. So today we focused on Instagram, today we focused on YouTube and Danny's impact that she takes from that on Instagram, and tomorrow we'll focus on Bola's Instagram. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I would love to hear if you have been given any ideas from today's breakdown of Bola and her hub and spoke content framework. So again, remember, it's about simplifying your work, creating a structure and a process that works for you that you will repeat. And keep in mind, so many people are out there creating videos day after day after day, putting it up on a YouTube channel and doing nothing with it. You will be served so much more if you even do something once a month and continue to redistribute that and share it from a different perspective across social media, as opposed to just creating something and setting and forgetting it. So we want to find what's going to raise your visibility, give you a greater impact, but actually be easier for you to do something you love and are good at, so you can hop back into your genius and run your business. So again, come find all of these episodes at socialmediavault.com. Let me know if you know anybody who's doing extraordinary things on social media and you wonder how they made it happen, and perhaps it's you. I hope to see you tomorrow.